Chef Paul, and now we're going to make a vegan devil's chocolate cake. This cake is really special. For me, it's the most moist, sticky chocolate cake you've ever tasted, and you will not believe it's vegan. It's made with very simple ingredients, and we're going to get going. So the first thing we're going to do, in here we have the water. We're going to bring this to a boil. Here we have instant coffee. We're going to add this to the bowl. You don't have to add the instant coffee, but it really adds the chocolatey edge to the chocolate cake to make it really indulgent. It makes a big difference, but you don't taste the coffee. Water is now boiling, so we're going to take that, pour it over the instant coffee. Give it a mix just until it dissolves. Then to this we're going to add the sugar. Just give that a quick mix. Then we're going to add the oil. On the recipe it says sunflower oil, but you can use canola oil, vegetable oil, it's fine. And then we have the vinegar. Now the white vinegar activates with the baking soda to create the rising. This is going to be a vital part of this recipe because there is no eggs in the vegan. So this one is vitally important. You don't put too much vinegar, but you put the right amount. Okay, so now all the wet ingredients are combined. So the next step, we're going to add the flour and cocoa powder. So this is already weighed out. So we just pop it straight in. And we can add the baking soda. This is going to help the cake stay nice and level. Also reacting with the vinegar to create like a raising agent. The salt. And then it's as simple as sifting everything together. It's important to sift for two reasons. One, you don't want to find any bits and pieces in there that are not supposed to be there. And two, that it's aerating the flour and cocoa powder. So it means when you go to mix, it will mix much easier. Just a few seconds can save you a lot of time. The amount of times I see people trying to make cakes without sifting the ingredients, and you just end up with lumpy batter. Now all we're doing is just mixing the ingredients from the middle. No mixer needed, it's a very liquid batter. So we're just going to keep mixing just by hand, and you'll feel the mix slowly starting to thicken. As the liquid is being absorbed into the flour and the cocoa powder, it will get slightly thicker, but still a very liquid batter. Okay, so now that's basically ready. So what we're going to do next is prepare the molds. So these are silicone molds. This one is 18 centimeters. This recipe we're going to divide into three. Silicone molds are widely available now on the internet. You can order, many shops sell them. So it's very good because you can bake, cook, freeze, everything in it. It comes out easily. So you can just force it out of the cake. Like a metal one, it can stick. This one you never have to worry about. However, still good to get the grease spray that you can buy from any supermarket. Just give it a light spray, it will help the cake drop out even easier. But again, a very light spray. Too much spray can actually work like glue, works the opposite. Okay, so the batter is now ready. If you're good at dividing, we're going to divide it into three. We can just do it by eye. Now, if you really want to be precise, the recipe is 1 kilo. So you can basically say 330 grams in each mold, and you can weigh it so you're basically going to be exact every time. So we're just going to pour a small amount in each one. And it's as easy as that. So this cake, like you see, it takes minutes to mix, no special equipment, no special ingredients. Wait till you see it. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to preheat the oven, ready for cooking. Okay, so now we're going to preset the oven for the vegan devil's chocolate cake. So first we hit set, we hit time, we add 15 minutes. Temperature, 160 degrees centigrade. Then we go to fan speed. We go to fan 1. Then once I press start, the oven will start to preheat. And once it's ready, it will let us know. So the oven is cooling, it's ready to put the items inside. The great thing about the UNOX is the even, consistent cooking. Inside, the heat transfers around the inside so consistently that you don't need to change the trays around, you don't need to rotate the trays. It cooks perfectly. With the technology inside, it cooks so consistently and evenly. So now the vegan devil's chocolate cake is baking, we're going to move on to the vegan chocolate frosting. Okay, so very easy, very simple, quick recipe. So first of all, we're using a plant-based butter. So it's 100% vegan. Icing sugar, or also known as powdered sugar. And we're going to put these two on to mix. Okay, so we're going to start with a very slow speed. Okay, so as it mixes, I'm slowly increasing the speed. And now I can basically put it onto full speed. Okay, so the butter and the icing sugar is basically combined. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the cocoa powder. The hot water. And the plant-based cream. And then close it again. Again, start with a very slow speed. Now, when we're making anything with cocoa powder, like a chocolate buttercream, the more you mix it, the lighter the color is going to become. It's going to look almost like a milk chocolate. However, if you leave this at room temperature for a few hours or overnight, you will see the air will slowly release and the buttercream will become darker, almost like a fudge, dark devil's chocolate icing. So because we're whipping air in, it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Now, the more you beat it, the lighter it will become and fluffier it will become. If you want it heavy and fudgy, then just mix it on slow speed. Once it's mixed and you put it into a storage in the container, cover it directly with cling film, and then you can store it overnight. Now, once you store it overnight, you'll see the color will go much, much, much darker. And remember, it's plant-based, so there's no dairy, so you don't have to worry about the shelf life. Don't have any cream, no butter, no eggs, anything in there, so it's very, very safe. Just going to give it a mix by hand. There you have a very fast chocolate buttercream. Great for cupcakes, great for filling cakes, great for on top of something. You've got the total taste of a normal cake, but it's vegan. All right, so the UNOX is calling. The door opens automatically. If you want to test them with a skewer or a knife, that's no problem. You just basically want to come out clear. So here we have the one cake. And then we have the others, so these are all perfect. The amazing thing about the UNOX is the air maxi system. Causes basically even air distribution within the oven. No need to rotate the trays or turn the trays around. Everything cooks exactly the same. You look at all three cakes, cooked on different shelves, all cooked identical. So the cakes have now been out for about 20 minutes. They've cooled down in the mold. So now they're at a point where the top is still dry. So it's a good time for us to unmold them. We're going to use just a cake circle, place it on the top of the mold, flip it over, just push down on the silicone to make sure it's released. That should just lift off like this, okay? Then we're just going to basically flip the cake over again, and we basically put it straight onto the tray. So if you leave it for too long and the cake gets sticky, then it can stick to the board. So again, we're just going to put that over the top, flip it upside down, release the cake, and then place it onto the tray. If you want the cake to be very, very flat, you can also just basically take the cake and flip it over and put it face down. This will help you level out the layers so you have almost two perfect level layers. The cakes have now chilled down. The chocolate frosting is ready. So we're going to assemble the cake. So very simple finishing of the cake. So we're going to put some chocolate buttercream in the middle. We're going to spread. This is just a very rustic cake, but very tasty cake. Normally vegan cakes, people like simple. They don't want to have too much fancy decoration. But this one is going to be a little bit in between. So once we've frosted it, we'll then place on the second layer. Give it a push down to make sure that it's sitting nicely. And we'll put another layer of frosting. Okay, so we have here a vegan milk chocolate bar. And what we're going to do is using a plastic cutter, we're going to scrape to make basic shavings. Just takes a little bit of pressure. If the chocolate's a bit hard, just leave it somewhere warm to soften, but you don't want it too soft because you'll end up with really thick pieces, and we're just looking at some simple decoration. So now we have chocolate shavings. Just going to sprinkle around the top of the cake. Then taking a little bit of cocoa powder, we're going to just lightly dust the top, very lightly. So here is the end result, my vegan devil's chocolate cake. Gooey, decadent, cooked absolutely perfect in the BAKERLUX Shop.Pro Master. And from my home to yours, please give it a try.